Jeffery Sachs, he's definitely my favorite economist in the world, but he's a realist. He doesn't pull any punches, he tells it like it is. And then you have the media. You got Piers Morgan. And Piers, I love you. You know, you try hard to stay in the mainstream, mainframe world of right's right, and we're right, and everybody else are terrorists. I mean, I understand. You know, you're from Britain. I mean, look at your country's history. Look at our country's history. We have similar histories, don't we? Yeah, we like invading other countries. We like to go in and steal their resources. We like to go in and blame them for the problem, and we're the saviors. Wait, we call the United States a religious country. We believe in Jesus, the teachings of Jesus, but yet, look at all the wars we create.
Wars are not fought out of sentiment. Wars are fought with money and armaments. And therefore, you can always find major powers behind these wars.
What is wrong with theorizing that it might just be that Syrian rebels represent a large body of Syrians who actually do want to overthrow a dictator that they believe has had a malevolent effect on their lives?
And in the case of Syria, it was Obama in 2011 who tasked the CIA to work with the Saudis at the time and with Turkey at the time to overthrow Assad. This was at Israel's behest, in my understanding and interpretation. But it required billions of dollars from the U.S., from Saudi Arabia, from Turkey.
Remember one thing, when there's a war, there's somebody there that wants to steal somebody else's resources. And don't forget, remember, the Greater Israel Project. That, you know, they think that when Trump comes in, it could be better. No. It will either be over, or if it's not over, I hate to see how many people have to die unnecessarily with what's raging right now.
But you think the CIA would launch a chemical weapons attack simply to smear Assad?
Of course it would. Are you kidding? It's done much worse than that. It launches coups, assassinations, wars. The whole history of the United States after 1947.
I don't believe that when Trump is in office, he will change anything in regards to Israel. None. Zero. And I've spoken to that before because of the Greater Israel Project and Jared Kushner promoting waterfront real estate. But let's talk about Pierce. He is naive in the sense that he wants to believe everything that he's been taught. But you have to remember something. I don't have anybody behind me orchestrating what I need to say. I'm just here because I'm 72 years old and have looked at the world and tried to figure out why it's so fucked up and why so many of us are lying about our history. This war that we're in right now will lead us to a final judgment day, I believe. I think the world's had enough. What comes is the reaction to countries that believe they can come in and steal your resources, just like the war in Afghanistan or the war in Syria or the war in Lebanon or the war, just name them, Afghanistan. It's always about resources. It could be oil. It could be drugs. It could be anything that can make money for, somebody says, well, who's making the money? For individuals that like to profiteer, and there was a lot of that going on in Afghanistan. They were stealing gold, flying it out in airplanes. They were stealing heroin, flying it out in airplanes. They were stealing anything they could get. In fact, the private contractors were making lots of money stealing. Yeah. So we're like robber barons, the West is. And we still keep perpetuating this. The West is the United States, Great Britain, Germany, France, Spain, Italy. But Spain woke up and said, we don't want to have anything more to do with this. I think the whole world should wake up and realize that war is not the answer.
Why are we doing Netanyahu's work when it is a failure anyway? Russia didn't jump in and we had to react. Russia came in 4 years after we started this. We started this because Syria was on Netanyahu's list. And it was literally a list, by the way. We know from this remarkable story of the former NATO commander, Wesley Clark, the supreme commander of NATO.
Yeah, no.
Wesley Clark went into the Pentagon, after 9/11, and he was given the list of the 7 countries that we were going to take out in 5 years. This was Netanyahu's list.
Why is it that the United States, who was based on rule of law and democracy to protect everybody's rights, why are we the ones out there leading the world saying to the international world of law, we don't have to abide by it, we're above it? Nope, the United States, we're not above it. The only reason you're saying that is because Netanyahu, the Zionists, believe they are above the law.